In this video, we're going to talk about specific insurance policies in Germany, what is necessary in my opinion, what is something you should avoid, and what insurance policies are interesting in different situations. So let's get started. First of all, in Germany, it's mandatory to have a health insurance. Here you can decide if you would like to have a statutory health insurance, and if you have a certain annual gross income, you are eligible for a private health insurance, which makes sense in some scenarios, but not in every scenario. Okay, so this is typically more or less sorted for everybody. Second would be a so-called occupational disability insurance. Because if you are sick longer, you can't expect many support from the government, and if you receive some support from the government, this is definitely not sufficient to achieve any financial goals and to maintain any specific standards of living. So when does an occupational disability insurance particularly make sense? So let's say scenario one, you are a single earner in the family. So let's say your partner is not working, the whole family is relying on your income, then you should definitely consider an occupational disability insurance that your income is secure in any case. Okay? Especially if you have children, you should consider occupational disability insurance. Now, if you're a single earner plus you have children, then for sure you should have a look at occupational disability insurance. Third scenario, when this makes particularly sense, is let's say you support your parents back home. You are single, you are not married yet, but you are supporting your parents and you have to support them because they are in financial need. It's not just like you're a good guy and you're supporting them, but they actually need your support to survive financially since they are in retirement and the income is not sufficient they have. So if you, let's say, pay some maintenance or let's say support to any family members, in these situations it makes a lot of sense. If you buy real estate and you have a big mortgage, and even if your partner is working, but if you lose one income and you possibly have a problem, then you should also consider having occupational disability insurance. But don't get me wrong, I typically always recommend to have an occupational disability insurance, because many people say, yeah, I'm not sick, I'm really healthy, I'm not becoming sick in the future. Yeah, actually no one is planning to become sick. And no one can actually guarantee that they are not becoming sick. So if you don't have occupational disability insurance, your whole financial strategy is relying on hope. And the question is if hope is the best foundation to build a good financial life on. Some food for thoughts. Because your income in the end is the basis of every financial plan. So if you lose your income, you have a pretty big problem. And probably you came to Germany to improve your financial situation, but this could actually destroy your financial situation. So definitely something to consider. Plus, you can also decide how much you would like to insure, because maybe you say, yeah, 60-70% of my income is sufficient so I can at least cover all my costs. Well, this obviously leads to a lower premium, so this is also pretty flexible. Third point, in my opinion, should be mandatory in Germany, is a so-called liability insurance. So if you or any family member, so your children or your partner, is damaging a third party, then you're liable for this damage. So if a friend gives you his phone and the phone is falling on the ground, let's say it's an iPhone, you have to pay 1,000 euros out of your own pocket. Now you say, yeah, 1,000 euros would be annoying, but fine, I will pay 1,000 euros. But let me give you another example. Let's say you cross the street and because of you there is a car accident. Now you have to pay for any damage at the car. If people are involved, you have to pay for any personal damage, hospital invoices, and so on. So this could also crush your whole financial situation. And a good liability insurance costs actually more or less nothing per month. We're talking about 4, 5, 6 euros, depends on the scope. This definitely makes sense. It is even tax deductible, so you should definitely have liability insurance in place as soon as possible. Now, if you're longer in Germany, you probably have liability insurance already in place, but now you should really understand if all the benefits that are crucial are actually included. So please be careful here with any cheap online provider. Don't just buy for the price, because in the end you're pretty upset if you have a big liability case and the insurance company is not paying. And if you now plan to buy real estate or you already bought real estate, this could cause real trouble. So these are the most important insurance policies, which should be, in my opinion, more or less always in place. Now, there are some add-ons which are nice to have, and now it depends on the scenario if you should opt for any of these insurance. So fourth insurance policy is so-called household contents insurance, which covers all your belongings. So let's say you have any TV or any equipment, let's say a laptop, a keyboard, clothes, cash, jewelry, and so on. So if you have any fire damage, water damage, storm damage, any burglary or something like this, this would be covered by your contents insurance. Now, I don't recommend content insurance always actually. If you say my belongings have a value of 1,000 euros, then I probably say, yeah, that risk is takeable. But if you have an apartment and you bought some expensive furniture and you would be really annoyed if you have to buy everything again in case of fire, water damage or something like this, then I would probably also recommend you to have a content insurance. Price is more or less like liability insurance, so a few euros per month actually. Fifth point would be a legal protection insurance. And in legal protection, you have 4 different modules you can choose from. So you have private legal protection, so everything about contracts, so insurance contracts, your electricity provider, Wi-Fi provider, phone provider, gym, and so on. Any private purchase of a car, for example, this would be included in private legal protection. Then you have employees legal protection, which I typically always recommend if you're working in the IT industry, because if you're an IT professional, you probably know that better than I do. It's a pretty rough time right now. It's not that safe. We have lots of layoffs and restructuring programs. So it actually makes a lot of sense to have employees legal protection, because if any company would like to lay you off, you receive with a lawyer a significantly higher package. And I always say, if you have one legal case in 15 to 20 years and you receive a bigger package, then legal protection is paying for itself. On top of that, employees legal protection is also tax deductible, so it makes total sense. Third would be tenant legal protection. So if you are living in one apartment and you're not the landlord, you should take care of that apartment because of 2 reasons. One, you probably noticed yourself in Germany that it's pretty complicated to find a new apartment. And second, unfortunately, some landlords think that you're an expert, you don't have the knowledge, so they try some things which are often not legal. So a tenant legal protection protects you. You have access to any lawyer who can fight for your rights. And fourth point would be traffic legal protection. So if you own a car and you are driving your car actually, then you should also consider traffic legal protection, because even if you drive yourself carefully, if someone else is not driving carefully and someone else is causing the accident, he might claim that this was your fault. And in that case, you would also like to protect yourself and avoid high lawyer costs. That's for legal protection. So if you are working in an industry where you don't have really, let's say, safe times right now, then you should at least consider employees' legal protection if you live in an apartment and you're not a landlord's tenant, and then you can build your legal protection as you like, and you can add other modules always in the future on top. Then sixth point would be a life insurance. Life insurance pays if you pass away. I typically only recommend life insurance if you bought real estate and you would like to insure your loan, and if you're the only earner in the family and your partner would have a problem if you pass away, especially if you have children. So let's put here real estate and children. If you don't have children and you don't own real estate yet, I would probably say don't take any life insurance. It's not necessary for now. Then obviously if you buy a house, you should insure the house. Then you have a house insurance. Yeah, this is obvious. And the eighth point would be a accident insurance. So if you have an accident, they would pay, but please be really careful here. They don't just pay if you have an accident. It's just if you lose any function of your body. So let's say you lose your arm or the arm is not working anymore. Only in that case, accident insurance is not paying. My personal opinion is that people don't need accident insurance. Maybe it's just recommendable if you have any risky hobbies, so you jump out of planes, or you climb on mountains or something like this, or combat sports, then it might make sense to have accident insurance. But if that's not the case, I would recommend to not take any accident insurance. Why am I saying this? Well, if you have occupational disability insurance in place, and if you're really sick, let's say because of an accident, the disability insurance is paying anyway. So I don't see any necessity actually to have a accident insurance in place. Ninth insurance would be an additional health insurance. So a supplementary health insurance, let's say plus, on top to your statutory health insurance. Here you have three options. You have the dental insurance, which might make sense if you have issues regarding your teeth. Then you have, let's call it a hospital insurance. So you have possibly access to a one-bedded room or private doctors or something like this. And a third insurance policy would be outpatient treatment, so that they pay for glasses, that they pay for alternative practitioners or something like this. These three options might make sense. I always say, well, if you go for these three health insurances, supplementary health insurance on top, then probably a private health insurance would be more stable regarding the premiums and also cheaper, and then you're a real private patient. But dental insurance, if you don't have the option to switch to private health insurance because of any existing precondition, then dental insurance makes sense. And typically also the hospital insurance makes sense. These are not that expensive. But now you probably have the feeling, okay, this guy is talking about my insurance policies. I'm just investing my money into any insurance policies. I would also like to build wealth. Yes, I fully understand that. That's the reason why I'm saying most important would be anything up to here. So a health and occupational disability insurance and a liability insurance. Health is already paid through your salary. Liability insurance is pretty cheap. And occupational disability insurance, yeah, it depends on how much you would like to insure. So these are not high monthly contributions. Okay. Also, a content insurance is pretty cheap. Legal protection insurance, if you only opt for the employees part, also pretty cheap. Life insurance is actually also pretty cheap if you do it correctly. House insurance, yeah, if you have $500,000 loan, then you should actually protect that asset. Accident insurance is not necessary. And an add-on to your health insurance, let's say it's nice to have. So you have to decide for yourself what is important for you and what is actually not necessary in your opinion. So if you would like to have help to understand, okay, which insurance you should take, which benefits should be included, what is the best provider for a specific insurance company, feel free to reach out, register on our website, book your free initial consultation, and we will see what will be the best solution in your situation. Take care and see you soon.